Hey guys, it's Rishi here. So yeah, this isn't really predominantly a vlog channel. It's really mainly an avenue for me getting my every now and then getting my own original music out there and a cover basically, and a lot of covers actually, more covers than originals. But you know how it is, man. It's really hard playing your own music. But yeah, this isn't something that I usually do. But if you wanted a series on vlogs, you can suggest topics or stuff, and yeah, just like whatever, man. Just suggest songs for me to do. Suggest topics if you want me to make this like a series. Yeah, and I'd be happy to give it a go and try it out. So yeah, I wanted to make this video because I figured that I should give you guys a bit of background information, a bit of character development, a bit of backstory into my life. Yeah, and so, well, you know me as Eclectic Muso, but my name's Rishi, and I'm from New Zealand, and I am half Indian, half New Zealander. So yeah, I'm half caste, but hey, we get the best of both worlds. So yeah, let me just tell you a bit about my story. So I have been pretty much enthralled with that art that we call music my entire life. It's something I can't even explain. I don't even know why exactly I'm drawn to it so much as I am. It just something about the art form of music just resonates deeply with me. I've been singing pretty much my whole life. I'm mostly self-taught with singing, but I have been training at uni. I did do my honours in classical singing. I did that for about 5 years at Waikato Uni in Hamilton, in New Zealand. It's a city, and so I have had some training recently. 5 years of training, so I've dabbled in some classical singing as well. But yeah, mostly when I was growing up, it was all natural, sort of just coming from a place of learning music by ear. You know, not really understanding everything about the technical aspect, but really connecting on a personal and emotional level with music and how it affects people, and how it's really quite a strange notion that a whole lot of instruments or a whole lot of material things like wood and strings and tuning pegs and whatnot can come together to form something that resonates so deeply on an emotional and personal and psychological level with thousands and millions of people. It's really quite astounding, and that's never ceased to amaze me about music. So yeah, basically I was a huge Michael Jackson fan when I was young. I pretty much wanted to be Michael Jackson. I tried my best to learn all the dance moves, but that's pretty crazy. I tried my best to sing his music until my voice broke. And yeah, I would often be the guy that everyone would know around school, just going around randomly bursting into song, because that's just a part of who I am. It's just, I can't really explain it. I mean, it looks weird to other people and it seems a bit abnormal, but for me, it's the most normal thing. It's like breathing, you know. Singing is just normal to me. If I really want to sing, there's not much in this world that's going to stop me, unless people directly tell me to please be quiet. I do have some restraint. And yeah, so basically, that's my early life story sort of covered, and basically I really seriously started getting into music in high school, and when I started to teach myself to play guitar. I had a few lessons here and there with guitar through high school, but I'm mostly self-taught with guitar. But that was when I really started to fall in love with the idea of creating music and performing music rather than being a simple karaoke sort of singer where you're sort of replicating what you've got on the record. And yeah, to the best of my ability, I try and do justice to the songs that I cover, but I like to present a bit of my own interpretation as well, because no one can be like these amazing musicians that I'm just absolutely enthralled with. But, you know, I can try my best to do it as well as I can, and do it in a way that shows a bit of myself. And I think that's more honest than simply saying, well, yeah, I want to be exactly like that one person, because that's just not how music works. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has a whole lot of different experiences, influences that come together to form who they are. So my advice to people would really be that don't worry if you don't exactly sound like the people you love. In fact, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and that's a lot of the time people find their own style by failing to replicate the style of people that they're really into. So that would be a big bit of advice for you guys, is just embrace the things about you that are different and that you do differently to other people. Don't think you have to carbon copy everything that you hear, because people want to hear some sense of you when they listen to you. They don't necessarily want to hear exactly what's on the record. Of course, it's really good to be faithful to the melody and faithful to the music, because no one likes people over singing all the time. But it's still a good idea to let a bit of you come through. You know, don't completely hijack the song and completely think that your ideas are necessarily better than the composers or the artists or the band or whatever you want to call it. Because at a basic level, you have to respect that creative intention and the composition behind that song. And then from then on, when you've got that basic level of interpretation, when you've got that basic level of understanding about that particular song or piece, then you can apply your own sort of individual elements to it, if that makes sense. So yeah, in high school I started teaching myself guitar. I've recently, just this year actually, my mum got me a mandolin, so I'm starting to learn mandolin. So if you guys ever want to see my mandolin or just see all my gear and stuff, then let me know, I'll give you a bit of a tour. Yeah, and also in high school I've always done talent quests and things like that, because I wanted to be Michael Jackson when I was young. And so during high school, I kept up doing the talent quests. I've played in a few different bands here and there, nothing really that long term. Like, I've helped out with a few bands when they've needed a singer for talent quests and stuff. I think one of my videos is actually up on the channel. It was this, looking back on it, it's probably not the best video on my channel, but it's about 6 years old, so I've come a long way since then, and I think my voice and my musicality and everything has matured a lot since then. And personally, I've matured as well. Yeah, so in high school, on a whim, I pretty much just decided out of my own intuition that I was going to join choir, and boy, was that a great decision. Choir was insanely valuable to me. It just taught me so many common little principles about music, about blending into a sound and forming one voice with this whole collection of instruments, forming one voice and one blended sound. And it taught, and I wasn't really great with the theory and the theoretical aspect behind music, but I made up for it with a lot of passion and a lot of willingness to just do this, regardless of whatever anyone else says or whatever my own limitations are, because we all have our own limitations, and we just have to try and do our best to work at it every day and just try and build off of what we already got. I'm sorry if I'm really rambling. This is completely unscripted. I mean, this is completely unorganized and just sort of free-form kind of backstory into my life. Some context for you guys. I thought it would be a good idea anyway. So yeah, in high school I did a lot of playing with bands and stuff and doing talent quests. I always had music as a subject. I quickly dropped maths because maths was just is not my forte. It's never been my forte. I am really more of a words person. I'm a lot better with words and the understanding of how English as a language works, although I should learn Hindi and Tamil at some point because I'm half Indian and get back to my roots. But maths has never been a strong point for me. It's just I think the way I explain it is that numbers don't really make the same sense in my head. When I look at two numbers, they don't necessarily automatically go together and I think, oh yeah, that plus that is automatically that. It takes me a little bit longer for my head to sort of go, well, if you do this and this and this, then you get that. I mean, it still ends up being right, but it just takes me a little bit longer to get to that answer that maybe other people would probably see it straight away and think, well, yeah, I know what that is, you know. So yeah, I dropped maths pretty quickly. Always had music going through high school with choir, talent quests, and various little band involvements, both in school and out of school. And in my last year of high school, I decided to join the jazz band. That was sort of a short-term thing, and looking back, I wish I'd done it sooner, but man, that was so cool. It taught me so much about musicianship, and I learned a lot about improvising as well, because I did a lot of improvisation, sometimes a little too much, you know, but that's something you sort of learn over the years. You learn when to pull back and just stick to the melody and sing a straight melody, and then you learn when you can add a few ornaments here and there, or embellishments, or runs, or whatever you want to call them, little trilly bits. And so, yeah, this was 2009, so this was basically, I had recently started my YouTube channel because I love YouTube. It's a great service. For better or worse, it's the predominant thing that we use for video sharing on the internet, and I think that's really quite a remarkable phenomenon that it's had the impact that it's had, really, and that it's been around for 10 years now. Yeah, and another thing, happy birthday YouTube, 10 years. I mean, regardless of what you want to think of improvements or not really improvements to the site, it's still around, and people are still talking about it, and people are still using it, and that's quite an accomplishment. So, shout outs to Google for managing to keep this thing going, because it's a great thing, and it really is a great thing. And so, yeah, that was a bit of a side note, sorry, that was a bit of a rambling. So, yeah, as I was saying, I started my YouTube channel in 2008, and really, I didn't have any plans for it. I didn't have any sort of expectations for it. There was no, I didn't want to just be this sort of person that puts a couple of videos up and has 1 million hits or something and becomes overnight a viral sensation. I want to be the person that slowly builds up a following and builds up a fan base, and that way people come back to you because they know that it's not just founded on a whim, or it's not just founded on on someone wanting to be successful or someone wanting to make a lot of money, etc. And here's another side note: I don't make any money from these vids, from these covers, originals, or anything. It's all just me saying, well, hey, here's a song I really like. I hope you like it too. Here's my cover, or here's my original. I hope you like it. This is all from my own heart, really. There's yeah, so I haven't really figured out the whole monetization thing with YouTube yet, so if someone could help me out with that whole process, I'd be much appreciated. Not that I'm against artists actually making money for what they do, because, the music industry is a business to an extent, but I don't feel like that should be the only reason behind making music, because if you make it the only reason behind making music, music sort of becomes a product, and it sort of ceases to become an art form or a meaningful, valid art form. It just becomes this product to be bought and sold. But yeah, I'm not against the concept completely of making money from music, and believe me, I'll be the first person to say, if anyone recognizes me and likes the stuff that I do, it's a great compliment, and I really appreciate anyone, no matter what. Even if you disliked my video, even if you left criticism, even if you were a troll, I don't care, man. If you've given some of your time to watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, doing anything at all to give me a bit of help, I appreciate it, man. Because when you're a musician and when you're a creative type in general, I think your own self-doubt and your own self-critique is your worst enemy. You're always telling yourself, ooh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. When we really should be saying, well, you know what, I'm not perfect. But then again, you're never going to be perfect when it comes to music or anything, really. So, you can't really get this idea of feeling complacent or feeling like you've learned everything with any particular subject, because you could devote whole lifetimes to music. I know that personally, and barely scratch the surface of what music is, and that's okay, because music's such a diverse subject and discipline that you can spend hours and hours upon a single thing and barely even understand it, or only just understand it. And it's magical how something can be so all-encompassing as music. So yeah, as I've promised, this is a really rambling video, and yeah, if you don't like the way I write videos, then the way I do videos, then maybe I'll try and write a bit of a script or write a bit of bullet points for what I want to say in the future, to keep things a bit more focused. But yeah, as I was saying, I am not against the idea of receiving recognition or people liking what I do or even disliking what I do. I'm always open to criticism. No one's immune to criticism. No one's infallible. So yeah, I'm open to anything, really. I'm very open-minded. I try to be. And so yeah, I'm not against the idea of musicians making money. So if I make money from it as a byproduct of what I love to do, then that's all the better. That's the icing on top of the cake, But it's not the whole cake. Any money or recognition that you receive, that's another piece of advice. Any money or recognition that you receive, while it's nice, it's not really the reason behind you getting into music or whatever you love to do. So yeah, that's the main reason I started the channel. I heard that YouTube was really cool, and I wanted to see if I could start up something and just I've had a reasonable amount of success, and I'm thankful for every little bit of success that I've had. I mean, 159 subscribers is a lot more than a lot of small channels have. It's great, and I think my view count was at 45k or something like that, which is incredible. I mean, I've done quite a lot of videos over the years, very on and off. That's something I'm going to try and change. So the request sort of structure might actually help with that in a way, because it'll give me some focus as to what you guys want. So if you want to hear a song, or you want to hear me talk about or ramble about a particular topic or rant, because I love ranting, I'm very opinionated, but don't misconstrue that for I like to push my opinions on other people. I really don't like people who do push their opinions or state their opinions as fact, because there's no one way to look at anything. Everyone comes from a different perspective and from a different background and a different angle, so we should always try and see other people's perspectives and try and appreciate for what they are. Even if we don't agree with them, we can sort of see where they're coming from. So yeah, I'm really happy for every little bit of success that I've had on this channel, and I'm going to try and do it more regularly from now on. Like, what I've got planned at the moment is to do a cover of Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead, because a good friend of mine this drummer, Tawana Zizi Queer, I think that's how you say his name on YouTube, I've worked with him, I've played with him, he's an amazing drummer, and he really wants me to cover that song, so I'll try and get that up within the next couple of days, hopefully, maybe even today. So yeah, that's leading me up to university, I suppose. Sorry, this is a really long video, and feel free to shut it off if you're not interested and you just want to come and listen to a few songs, because this is something different from the usual programming, so to speak. I'm normally about doing covers, putting up an occasional original, but this can become a thing. Like I said, just give me your feedback. So yeah, that leads me up to university. Now, university was interesting because I knew that I wanted to do music in some form, but I wasn't sure if I was technically proficient or theoretically knowledgeable about music to do music at university. So my first year of uni in 2010 was a year of me doing a Bachelor of Arts, which, if you know what that is basically just a very broadly defined degree where you can do a whole range of different subjects, and I really ran the gamut. I did some theatre studies papers, I did some media studies papers, I did some philosophy, I did some music, of course, because that's my main focus, and I did some humanities papers. But after that year, I really enjoyed doing all those different disciplines, and I think they all offered me something that I learnt from. But after that, I decided, the scattershot approach of doing a lot of different subjects just doesn't really work for me. I really do well when I fixate on a particular subject. That's why I really love doing music, and I really get enthusiastic about it, because when I fixate on something and when I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, I'll give it everything that I've got. And I'm not just saying that, and I did enjoy all of those papers, and to a level I was passionate about them, but music was my overriding passion, and I was like, well, I've done the Performance 101 sort of paper, and that's sort of given me a little bit of a context for what the music degree would be like at Waikato Uni. And so after that I decided I'd like to focus in performance, and this was a great turning point in my life, because I was at a bit of a crossroads when I left high school, because I love popular music and I love music in general. I mean, I really hate thinking of music in genres. I when I think about music and genres, I think of it in the most broad sense possible, in really broad terms. Like, if you look at a band, say Incubus, for example, yes, in general, you could probably call them an alternative rock band in the umbrella term. But if you look into their music, as in with any artist, you can see so many different elements of other genres coming into there. So music is so fluid that I try not to do it. I try not to too specifically label things too much. I just let it be music. So my dilemma before coming to university was, one, that I wasn't technically proficient enough to do classical singing, and two was that I wasn't sure which sort of music I really wanted to focus on, whether I would go and study contemporary music or popular music, or whether I would go and study classical music. Okay, so I tossed and turned a bit about this before I went to uni in 2009, and eventually I decided that I weighed up my options and I said, well, you know what, I haven't really done a lot of classical music. I've done a few pieces here and there in choir, but those are choral pieces and they're quite different from doing art songs or arias or opera. You know, it's a different animal altogether. But my reasoning behind deciding to do classical music was that I weighed up my options, that I felt that if I had studied popular music, sure, I would have learnt a few things, and I would have obviously learnt some things, and it would have been a great experience, but it wouldn't be like completely tossing myself into the deep end of the pool and just completely getting swept away a little bit at first, but eventually getting used to it. And that describes a lot of my university experience, is that it took me a long while to really get enthusiastic about classical music because it felt so alien from anything that I'd ever done musically before. So yeah, that was a big reason for why I decided to do it. I felt like I would benefit so much more from doing something that I hadn't done a lot of, and I didn't have a lot of experience with, and that technique that you get from classical music would be applicable to any genre of music. That would help me to sing anything really if I wanted to. So that was my main theory behind deciding to do classical music when I came to uni. So fast forward a few years and here I am, 2015. My current situation's a little bit bleak. I decided to take a break after doing my honours last year in classical singing, and I wanted to try and find some work. Not necessarily music work, because that's few and far between, and that's really the truth. But in general, work is hard to come by in these days, in this economy, in this world that we live in. It's a tough world. It's a really dog-eat-dog world out there, and if you don't have a lot of work experience, or your work experience doesn't directly correlate to the 9-to-5 job, it's really quite hard to get your foot in the door and get experienced with work. But so that's my main thing that I've been focusing on this year, was applying for work and stuff and trying to make a little bit of money on the side, make a little bit of money, and then have my music on the side as my passion, so I have a little bit of money in the bank, and then I can sort of figure out what my options are going forward, whether I want to do my masters, go overseas and travel, or perhaps look into studying overseas somewhere in a conservatory or something like that, and just where to take my voice, where to take my music aspirations. And so, yeah, I've been mainly looking for work. Hasn't gone the way I planned. I'm still unemployed. I'm still really broke. So that's why these videos won't be the best of quality. and I apologize for that, and I understand your frustrations, but I'm at a limit to what I can do in terms of technology at the moment, and I can't justify spending a whole lot of money grabbing equipment unless I have that money to spend. It's just, if you've ever been unemployed and it is a really horrible experience. It's pretty soul crushing looking for work, because your days feel so empty and they sort of have a lack of purpose a lot of the time. Which is why I'm going to try and do this a bit more and try and upload some covers and originals a bit more, so I have something to aim towards during the day. So yeah, that's my year so far in a nutshell, and I've got a couple things on the side, like I've been going to a lot of open mics in Hamilton, where I live at the moment, and just at pubs, open mic nights, you go up and you show up and you play 3 or 4 songs, maybe more if you're lucky, if you do like a bit of a round 2 later on in the night, and those have been really great for polishing up my playing and my performing. But I've also been doing some musical theatre this year. Nothing huge, just this local company called Hamilton Operatic. I know the title's misleading, but they are mainly doing musical theatre in their group. And this isn't paid work. It's all completely of my own love for it. But I'm backing vocalist for Mamma Mia, which we've got coming up next Friday. We open. Whew, that's going to be crazy. Not this Friday, but next Friday. I just wanted to clarify that. So, that's been great. And after that, I have Evita starting, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. So, yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell so far. I'm sorry this video's been so long. I'll try and organise my thoughts a bit better next time, but I thought that maybe it would be better if it was sort of just off the top of my head and sort of improvised, because this is just a brief, this is just a bit of an understanding from where I'm coming from, my life, my experiences, etc. So yeah, if you like the video, do like. If you want to see more sort of stuff like this in the future, let me know in the comments. Like, I'm not a predominantly vlog channel, but I can do it if people want to see it. If you dislike it, then go ahead, I encourage people to be honest and, say what they think. But don't just blindly hate. I mean, if people are just blindly hate and they're obviously just trolling, I'll probably just delete your comments, because it doesn't really add anything to the discussion. If you don't like something, at least voice your opinion and say why you don't like it, or maybe tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I can do to improve, and I'll try my best to take that into account when I do things. But yeah, leave me song requests anywhere really, and I'll look at them and see if I can do that for you. Leave me requests if you want to see this as a series. Like I said, I've got an idea of maybe taking you have a look at my room and sort of show you my gear and stuff. Not that anyone's interested in that, but if you're interested in that, let me know. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment, do the usual thing. I don't try and over promote my videos, but just if you feel inclined to do anything, just give it a go. It really helps me out a lot, and I know everyone says this sort of thing, and I really appreciate it. I mean, it's humans are interesting creatures, because we are as much as we want to be our own entity, and we want to sort of be feeling like we have self-worth without other people's validation, everyone to a certain extent looks for acceptance from other people. So if you can give me a little bit of that satisfaction, then I can't even begin to describe how excited and how good that makes me feel. I mean, it's not my only source of pleasure, but I'm not an attention whore. I try not to be. You know, we're all we're all guilty of doing that at some point. But this video's gone on long enough, so do the usual thing. Let me know what you want to see in the future. And yeah, thanks for listening if you've been watching this far. And yeah, just thanks for everything, guys. Cheers.